You are an 18-year-old black woman in 1917. You spent your whole life in the Deep South, born and raised in Alabama. You're the eldest daughter of five, raised by a sharecropper and a seamstress who worked grueling hours just to always fall short of making ends meet. As the eldest daughter, you are a third parent to your siblings. You help them get ready in the morning, assign chores for the day, discipline them when they find trouble or trouble finds them, help them with their schoolwork. Everything falls into your lap. Your parents, bless them, do their best to raise you and your siblings right. They feed and clothe you. They send you all to school in hopes that you all learn and know more than they ever had the chance to. And most importantly, they teach you how to act around white people in a deeply segregated society. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. No, sir. No, ma'am. No eye contact. Stay out of their way, and hopefully they'll leave you be. Though you know the color of your skin is all the reason they need. Today is like any other. Your mom sent you to grab some items from town. You wrote the list as she spoke. Not a lot needed today, just soap and bread. It seems silly to write a list for two things, but your mom insists that you write everything down. She wants you to keep up with your reading and writing, even though you are out of school. It's a nice day for a stroll, and you enjoy the peace away from your screaming siblings. The downside? For this trip, you'll have to go into one of the white stores in town. Unpleasant, but doable. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. No, sir. No, ma'am. You keep those words running in your mind on a loop. Even when the clerk overcharges you for your items, you bite your tongue and carry on. You walk back home and think of all chores yet to be done when the earth beneath you rumbles. You whip around and your heart sinks to your feet. It's a car full of white men. Probably not a day older than you, but their eyes are gleaming with an ancient hatred for you. You keep your bag in front of you with one hand as your other tries to quickly fish in your pocket for the razor you keep with you for moments like these. You still remember the first time you went to town on errands. Before you could step out the door, your father grabbed you by your wrist and plopped the razor into your hand. You had turned it over and over, slightly mesmerized and wooed even by the way it seemed to shimmer in the light. Keep this on you at all times. If anyone tries to mess with you, don't hesitate to pull this out. At the time, you nodded solemnly along to his words, but deep down, there was a sense of giddiness that even his seriousness could not tamper out. You were old enough to be trusted to go into town on your own. Already in charge of so much, this was just more proof of how essential you were. Another small way to relieve some of the weight from your parents. The cool metal of the razor in your palm made you feel big. Now, under the blazing Alabama sun, the car barreling towards you like a demon from the pits of hell, you don't feel big. You feel small, and you are trying to figure out how to get smaller, fast. The razor feels like it's burning into your flesh as you clench it in your clammy palm. The demon is upon you now. The men jeer and yell all too familiar slurs at you, but they continue down the road, and you let out a breath you didn't even know you were holding. You continue on, shaking knees towards home, willing your heart to slow and try to go back to your list. When you return, you tell your mom of the incident and she is horrified, but not shocked. She makes sure you're all right and gives you something rare, a break. You spend the day floated from around the house, bemused by the concept of sitting still. A few times, mom gets frustrated at the younger kids but glares daggers at you anytime you stand to help. Dad returns home with bleary eyes that go wide with terror when you tell them about the men in the car. He demands to know who they are, what they look like, what they said. Relay the story as best you can, but one glimpse into hell was enough. A month passes, and your mom comes home late one night while you're cooking dinner. She says nothing and drops a newspaper on the table. Headline, U.S. officially at war. When dinner is done, you read the article going on and on about troops and U-boats and Germans. Your father comes home while you're reading with a much smaller paper. You read it for him. His brother was beaten by some white people in town. His crime? He accidentally bumped into one of them on the street. No story will be ran for him in the paper. This is reality in Alabama. But your parents decide enough is enough, at least for you. You don't know how, but in another month's time, they tell you to pack a bag because they're sending you up north to live with an older cousin. Detroit, they tell you as they shove an envelope full of cash in your hands. Things will be different up there, your mom tells you at the bus station, trying to hold back the tears in her eyes. But a lot of things will be the same. You just remember what we taught you. Your father's mouth is pressed into a thin line as he looks you up and down with a considering look. He'll never admit it, but you heard him crying behind his door anytime he and mom talked about sending you away. You never thought about leaving before this. You don't know how to manage work and the kids without you. Your next sibling is 13. He's old enough to help, but lacks any seriousness needed to help a household truly run. You should stay, but this might be your only chance to see the world beyond Alabama. Before they can change their minds, you throw your arms around your father's neck and hug him. He hugs you back tightly as if he'll never let you go. Thinking quickly, you whisper in his ear, "I still got that razor." He chuckles slightly and you feel some of the tension leave all three of you. He gives you one last squeeze before you step away from each other. Then your mom runs up and hugs you tighter, swaying you in her arms like you were still just a baby. And as if she can hear your thoughts, she says, "You'll always be my baby, but go be a woman now." You board the bus. From a family of 7 to just you, a suitcase, some cash, a razor, and your thoughts. The bus takes off, and as you travel northbound towards Mystery, the same group of men that hurled insults at you one fateful day passes you on the other side of the road, completely oblivious, and suddenly you feel big again. You arrive in Detroit and immediately are greeted by a wall of noise. You try to get a sense of the people in this place, but everything blurs to a smear of color. When your cousin meets you at the station and links your arms together, she can see you're disoriented. "Don't worry," she says. "You'll catch up quickly." And you do. With war dragging men from soft beds to hard trenches, it's women who step up to take their place in the factories and plants, and there's no time to falter. You find work on the assembly line, and once again, cold metal makes you feel like a giant in a world that tries to subjugate you to the background. Your story is one that was familiar to over 6 million Black Americans between 1910 and 1970. Many Black men and women left their lives in the South to try and escape the racial violence that started new in the North. Chicago, New York, Detroit all experienced population booms as more Black Americans settled in. In the decade between 1910 and 1920, the Black population of Detroit grew 611%, New York 66%, and Chicago 148%. While lynchings were less frequent up north, racism was a national disease that couldn't be avoided. Still, the opportunity for even slightly better conditions attracted people to the city. When the U.S. joined the war, it provided an even bigger window for Black women to find work outside of the domestic field. Many women found jobs in factories, slaughterhouses, and foundries, and along with that, they found more racial tension. Nevertheless, Black women continued to flock to the city, and some found themselves drawn to politics, forming coalitions for a chance to make their new home more bearable for themselves and other generations to come. You can learn more about how Black women migrated north and how they built lives for themselves by checking out A Black Woman's History of the United States, a new and empowering look at the history of the United States through the stories of Black women.